All right. Well, today's guest is a very special one and an important one to me. We've known each other for a couple of years. It is none other than Dr. Anthony Yates. Many, many people in the city of Pittsburgh know this guy. He's going to come off as serious for about a few minutes until our humor and our banter kick in, and then all of a sudden you're going to see the funny side of this guy. But one of the most respected docs for sure in Western PA, if not greater than that. But I don't want his head to get too big. 45 years also the team doctor of one of the team doctors, but the team doctor, internist, general medicine for the Pittsburgh Steelers, 45 years. That's 2 more years than I've been alive. So I'm going to put that out there. But you still look young and youthful, I got to tell you. Young and youthful.
You trying to get on my good side?
I'll try to stay. I'm going to try to stay on your good side as long as I can. Here's the thing. On the medical side, the doctor side, you have like 17 titles I've noticed in your emails. What are they all? And just give us like your background, pre-football, although I know you do it in parallel, but like tell us about like the medicine side. And I don't even know how to describe it, but hopefully you can.
I'm a medical director of our practice as it relates to a corporate health program and a travel program. And of course with the Steelers, I assume the non-orthopedic role, things that go wrong with people that aren't related to bones and muscles. And in that context, having been with the NFL and with the Steeler club, I can't ignore me, I end up being the president for the NFL's Physician Society, and that's another title, and it's a 2-year title, and it got me on television.
So speaking of the Steelers in all your years, I mean, you've seen it all. Have you ever been tackled in a football game?
Well, as a teenager way back when. You mean in the NFL?
Yeah, in the NFL. Have you ever been on the field or the sidelines? Have you ever been tackled?
Twice.
Oh, I'm aware of one, which we're going to cut to that video right now.
And back to Witten they go. 3 Steelers come toward him. And Witten flattens one unsuspecting witness on the sideline. Mike Taylor's over there helping out the gentleman. Welcome to the NFL. Yeah.
We're going to pivot from some of the cool Steelers stories to, what I would say is, the last year plus or so of what's happening around telemedicine and telehealth. And a lot of those topics that, you and I, when we have this banter, but also when we start talking about, serious stuff, I always like to pick your brain around technology and digital as it relates to healthcare. And I remember some cool stories that you told me. So I'm going to take a time out on that. No pun intended on the football reference. But we're now going to pivot to the healthy side of this, because the show is called Healthy Bytes, BYTES.
Are you gonna match me bite for bite?
But I'd say the challenge has been put on the table, and you should be thanking your other son-in-law, who we call Chef Tom throughout all of our tapings. Chef Tom has put this together. I asked him what I should be serving up to you, and he picked this. So, and I don't think maybe he was trying to be nice, because he's a suck-up way more than me. So let's do this. Let's grab our napkins. Brought to you by your daughter, Beth, who has amazing matching abilities, because this matches the octopus in front of us. But this is about health, and we're going to rate these foods, right? We have mackerel, as in holy mackerel. And then we have octopus, which I just think of like that thing swimming around. By the way, there was a great movie recently around a man building a relationship with an octopus on that subscription, the subscription media company that everybody has now. It's a great movie. Just tune in. And then we have Mussels there, like Jason Witten, as he came to the sidelines to tackle you. All right, so we're going to start with mackerel first. Would you like to put some lemon on yours? Or you want to just go, I know you're going to be tough and claim you don't need it.
I'm going to take it as it's presented, yeah.
I think the other thing we should call out here is, this is grab-and-go seafood now, right? That comes in a little packet. And I don't know if I can get my arms around, I can definitely get my arms around these size things, but the whole seafood thing in a little tin thing like tuna fish, it's never been my thing.
We can just dive in when you're ready.
Okay, but you need to know this. This is important. We're going to rate these on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is Mia. I don't want that. I'm never eating it. Get it away from me. A 5 is Evan, your favorite grandson. Favorite grandson. Now, before you think that's mean, he only has one grandson. The rest are all granddaughters. but he'd still be the favorite grandson, even if he had other grandsons. He's a 5, which is, give me some of that. You know how he takes all of our food when we're like eating some good food. Like he eats more than all of us now, including me, and I start to get angry at him because it's like he's like a grown boy. But and then 10 is your favorite individual in the household. It is Mr. Chew. Remember how how you walk in the house, he bites those like the jeans and pulls on you. Mr. Chew is a 10, which means I'll eat anything. I don't care if it's mussels. I don't care if it's seafood. I'll eat it all, plus the wood underneath it. All right, so that's a 10. Let's dive into this, and here we go. I think it's always important for us to gently waft. Okay, you're a seafood guy. You know what? I'm starting to realize what just happened.
Chef Thomas took care of
Chef Tom took care of you. I was totally like, you should have got. Okay, well, that's next program. We'll have you on season 2. Let's go on here. Oh.
See what I have to deal with.
But I'm still chewing it. It tastes like beef jerky. What does a mackerel look like?
You have to Google that. It looks like a fish.
You Google it. One click, I can find out a picture. All right, next up, let's go with the octopus. I don't know if it really has a smell.
So do you sniff your food all the time?
I actually don't, but it's part of the shtick. So I have so disclosure, I've had octopus before, and I actually enjoy octopus. I just never thought of it out of a tin can that you could grab and go for a healthy treat. And if I like it, and it's really truly healthy, like all my literature and all my research says, it's better than all the chips and the peanuts, etc. Right?
Oh yes, my favorite son-in-law,
Buttery.
Thomas. He's taking care of me.
Look at that. You're like, it's a 5-course meal for you. Of all the guests I've ever had on this show, Healthy Bytes, I'm not sure anybody cleaned their bowls up. You could be the first. I really like this. Thomas, Chef Tom, as we now call him, he hooked you up because the purpose of the show is to taste new things, and I've definitely tasted most of these except the mackerel. But it's to encourage healthy bites, healthy eating, etc. And I thought he was going to be able to tease you and have you not like it, but you're eating everything. Let's go with the mussel.
Yeah, he's taking care of our.
Once again, he's trying to suck up. Okay. You know what? Guess what they are? Pittsburgh Steelers colors, black and yellow. You notice? Black and yellow.
Perfect.
What do you think? You like that one?
These are good.
All right, we're going to come back to rating that in a second. I'm kind of a little depressed because I think, you've enjoyed that too much. Dr. Anthony Yates, this is where we're going to get the serious side of the show. Being a doctor during COVID, I call you at all hours of the day to talk about things, right? I mean, even if I have, some sort of like bellyache, arm ache, my toe hurts, you're getting a phone call. You don't get anybody excited, right? You're very reserved. But so when COVID came, and I actually was pretty reserved about it. I understood the severity of it, but I remember having a moment with you where I'm like, how much concern should we have? What was your response? You might not remember. It might have been different times I asked you because I called you every day, every hour, every minute. But
Heighten one's awareness, so we need to be careful with exposure to the possible virus. Yet we need to learn to deal with it and move through the process. I mean, this isn't the first time there's been a global epidemic, and through history there's been many diseases that have killed many people. But in today's world, where one moment later you can hear about a volcano and across the world, and now we're hearing the pandemic that emanated presumably from China in a matter of days to weeks. So that just fuels anxiety globally. Everyone has to take a deep breath, recognize the problem, and then move ahead with problem solving vis-a-vis quarantining, wait for the virus, move ahead in a family-oriented way, and learn new avenues of work and relationships. Now we have Zoom meetings across the world and other technical features that actually have opened up new ways of managing people, patients from a health standpoint.
Aha, telemedicine. I remember you telling me about a trip you took to Hawaii. I mean, you always have these cool trips. Maybe I should have been a doctor. No. Bad
No.
idea. Bad idea.
No.
It's interesting because PwC published a recent paper talking about the velocity or the acceleration of telehealth because of COVID, right? I'm not sure doctors wanted to see their patients and patients wanted to see their doctors in person, right? Because this started to get out of hand pretty early. What was your experience seeing patients? And I don't want to say for the first time because I was showing me on FaceTime or video time or whatever it's called. I was showing you everything wrong with me for years. So you and I were doing telehealth. I don't know if you knew that.
Obviously, we were way ahead of the curve.
We were ahead of the curve.
Absolutely.
We were experimenting telehealth. We should have started our own company and done telehealth. Imagine that. We would have been ahead of everything. What's been the hesitation of why it wasn't used so early?
I don't know. I mean, there are many avenues where it wasn't up to speed at the time. The ideas were there. A lot of money had to be invested into various universities to have all the capabilities present in all the rooms of hospitals and
Well, what's so hard about it? Does it have to connect to the EMRs and everything else from a support infrastructure of the payer provider space?
well, I have to think that's part of it, the cost, and then on the physician side, everyone had to come up to speed, including all their support folks. So there was that learning curve. Easily 2 decades ago, I was involved with a program. I don't know what I can say in terms of naming this or that, but I found myself with friends with interest in telemedicine in Hawaii, and there was a need for various telemedicine applications. And so we were there to, forgive me, sell the products that could be used in a telemedicine fashion with the university. And so in the pitch, we can do telederm, which is obviously dermatology. Teleecho is echocardiology, so it's a cardiology function. And
Can you spell that fast?
ECHOCARDIO.
Oh, hello.
The liaison for the government, if you will, in Hawaii, said, "Oh yeah, teleecho, we can use that." Actually, it wasn't tele anything. It was called ECMO, and the area needed applications for managing infants that needed a bridge between lung conditions until they were transferred to a high trauma center or specialty center. So the project took off, and years later, I heard it was still in play, still saving lives. So It's a small little effort, and who knows what happens with an effort. It turns out to be something good. A lot of us went into telemedicine, kicking and screaming, and it's been great as far as I am concerned, especially with COVID. It brought in seeing my patients in their home, and it was a great comfort level, especially during the time of COVID. They felt relieved. They knew they could still get advice on health concerns, and it was in the comfort of their home. So that was a very, very much a plus up. But like anything, telemedicine and all the electronic records has their drawbacks, and it's a time thing. But if we can just learn to use those applications that help us do a better job and not get confounded with all the clicks and such, it's going to only improve medicine going forward. Yeah.
Didn't you show me a device that was going to be sent out to patients that they could stick in their phone or choice of device and into their ear or their nose or mouth that you could then see on your end? Am I making that up?
So there's a lot of applications that are being developed, month after month. This particular individual, whether they did it on an application that delivered the device to their home or not, had a little fiber optic scope that they could plug into their phone and insert it gently into their ear to show me if their ear was inflamed or impacted with cerumen or wax. So that's just the patient side. On the physician side, obviously, there's a lot of potential applications, but again, you can't have all these items in one home. It has to be.
Well, they cost money too, right?
Yeah.
And
So
someone's
it's a-
going to have to foot that bill, which we won't get into that now. You tell me if I'm wrong here, but technology has absolutely been a great solution, might be the wrong word, but enabler of health for the last year plus. We know that. And even putting COVID aside, just the opportunity that I could see my doctor without having to be in, her or his presence is huge, right? For me personally, from a schedule.
Yeah, efficiencies of all sorts.
Right.
It took a global pandemic
To do
have
that.
insurance companies, and won't name any other governmental agencies, to say, yes, you can use this, and it's not an item that you would be billed for.
Right.
So it took a global pandemic to open up that door and to open up telemedicine with various consultants throughout the specialties of the medical world. Some specialties lend more to a video visit, such as an endocrinologist. I mean, certainly, traditionally, they would listen to the heart, lungs, and so on, but this is more one of assessing various endocrine lab studies, images that had been done elsewhere, ultrasounds and such, to discuss with a person whether they are in need of a thyroid operation or parathyroid operation. So specialties can embrace this. Perhaps less so in other areas. Mental health, counseling sessions. From
So
home.
let's stop there for a second. So I'm glad you brought that up. Mental health obviously has been such an important topic, not just in generational thing the last decades, but I feel like the conversation's happening more and more again from the pandemic as a catalyst. It's interesting. You think about the last year, you think about the telehealth and telemedicine. At the same time, there is just something about going into the office, seeing my doctor, having that conversation with, he's got the computer there, the records. There's a comfort level. Me personally, and I'm sure many of our viewers too. What are your thoughts there in general around, is it going to be the same swing back to coming in person?
I think the physician has learned not to have their back to the patient, they're facing the screen. So there's that geography within the office to position people so you can look at screen, look at patient, but you can employ all the depth of the electronic record. You can pull up a chest X-ray. You can show them right here the improvement of a pneumonia. You can show them right here the arthritis spot in their neck that they can now understand, and they can cope better because they have a better understanding. The unknown is tough to deal with from a healing and anxiety standpoint, but when you know and you understand what's going on, outcomes are improved.
So will there be a process at some point, and I'm sure there will be, but I'd love to ask an expert. When I have certain symptoms, where right away it's going to go into that decision tree, right? Okay, Justin, Dr. Yates will see you next Thursday. Here's the dial-in number for that. Or, we need to see you. And by the way, when they say we need to see you, it's going to have that moment of like, oh my gosh, something's wrong, right? You know me, I'm always going to think that. But thoughts on that?
So I think you're asking me, is there a logarithm, if you will, or a artificial AI process that will take in your symptoms and say you have X, Y, or Z, and go take a pill. That, in my mind, doesn't float from a humanistic standpoint because touch is needed, or at least a look-see with that confident look or concerning look that we need to do something further, or no, look, this is okay, this is why. And that's another reason that I feel the human element has to be maintained. Now, that's not to say we can't use all the technology and still maintain that connectivity.
Right, absolutely. And I think that's across industries. At some point, people want to see their colleagues. I've seen so many of my colleagues through, all the different platforms, and I thank all those companies for having those platforms. But at some point, you just want to get in the room with people, like we are here today. Although I've seen you, you've been in. I've been in your bubble, not right, Professor. I've been in your bubble. But that I miss my teams, sitting in the room, collaborating. Those long hours, having fun, having a rough day, and just going to grab a bite to dinner with people. I'm looking forward to having it all back.
Well, let's not thank the pandemic, but I think the hybrid enjoyment of working from home and efficiencies therein and family, and yet still meeting with the team face to face, and I don't mean by a video mechanism, but in the same room, is, I think, something that all of us are going to enjoy over the next decade.
There's no doubt that it was a catalyst for us to recognize that we can be at home and we can be physically in a workspace, but yet do them both at the same time, manage them, and have good outcomes on both sides. I actually sounded quite smart the way I said that. I don't know if I did or that was kind of just mumbo jumbo.
It was happenstance, but you're right.
I got lucky. I love you, man. I love you. Tell your grandchildren what it was like when I asked you if I could meet you down in the cellar one late afternoon.
Well, it was a very appropriate place because it was very quiet, removed from the rest of the home. And we went down to the basement, and you were telling me that you were going to ask Beth if she would marry you. And I said, does she have any inkling? I mean, do you know what she's going to say? Even then, I was looking after him, should he have gotten the no word.
So you didn't believe in me?
It's not what I believe.
Touche. And you know what her response was when I presented her the ring in her apartment, because we were, all the plans were broken because we were both at Carnegie Mellon? Her reply was, she actually swore. We were watching the Oscars, and she said, "Are you kidding me?" And it wasn't because she didn't want to marry me. It was because it's like right now, and that's a classic relationship, Beth and I. And Beth is like you, and I'm more like Carol. That's on video too. But I couldn't have been more thrilled. And I know you were just as thrilled to hear that I was going to marry your daughter. Say
Here
yes.
we are.
Say yes.
Absolutely. Yes.
What's another good story? How about the time when I was in the house during Christmas? And you know me, because this is Healthy Bytes, BYTES. Do you remember me in the house when the cookies? No, it wasn't the cookies. Oh, seafood. It was calamari. And Carol, who is my mother-in-law, great person, individual. She makes an unbelievable calamari salad. Do you remember me eating it nonstop, and she started yelling at me? And then I went into the cookies. And then she unloaded on me. Beth and I just moved back to Pittsburgh. PwC had just acquired Diamond Cluster, or Diamond at the time, and we were living with you guys for 4 to 6 months. You probably want to erase that from your memory. And I ate the cookies before anybody else did, and your wife, I call her your wife, not my mother-in-law at this moment, and she yelled and screamed at me, which has only happened once, I think, in 20 years. I mean, she's probably got annoyed with me, because we all do.
Do you remember what I said?
That's what I was going to ask you. That was a long wind-up. What did you say?
I hope you're happy now.
No, you didn't say that.
No?
You said, and I quote,
I'll have to agree.
"I hope you enjoyed those cookies." End quote. And I got to tell you, I love it. So this is why we're going to now pivot that story. We now need to rank these. Mackerel. Let's pick it up again. Oh, you don't have any left. Would you like mine? All right, so I'm going to do it. Here.
I don't have any left.
You got some of mine. We're past the COVID thing, right? We're in the same bubble. We've been there. You got to eat some. Put it in your mouth.
All right.
I wouldn't do that with any other guest, but you, I would. All right. I like it more than I thought I would. Look at the full bite. Look at you, full bite. That's impressive. 1 is a Mia, which is, I'm not eating it, no way. 5's an Evan. Evan's going to say, oh, I'll take more of that, which he would. And then a 10 is Chewy. I'm eating the whole thing, and the bowl, and the spoon. What is that for you?
I'll give the mackerel a 5.
Oh, interesting. Didn't love it, but yet you ate mine and yours. Just an observation, doctor.
What's your point?
No point.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to give it a 3. 3. That wouldn't be my choice. Octopus time. I love octopus. It's a great grab-and-go snack. Your rating, sir?
8.
You can use decimals.
8.
Still 8? 8.1? 8.2?
8.
I'm a 10. This is a moment on the show of Healthy Bytes that's never happened before. Healthy Bytes has seen its first 10 for me. That is a 10. You can. The people watching this, everybody's nodding their head. That's the first time I have ever given a Healthy Bite a 10. Okay, moving on. The black and gold Mussels. See that? There was a little play on the Steelers. Did you like that?
Very.
By the way, did you notice the glasses?
I did.
What do you think?
Really avant-garde.
You know what your daughter said when I put these glasses on? No. You know what that meant? Yes. All right. So what'd you think about the Mussels?
I'll give it a little less, like a 7.
You still liked it. But why are there 2 left? You ate everything else. Come here. If you like them so much, why don't you eat them up? Taste them up.
Why don't you have? I see you. You did finish your octopus.
Love the octopus. I'm going to eat more later. Mussels for me, those specifically, and in the can, I don't know if I could do it often. I'm going to give it I was going to go low. It's an Evan. Straight on 5. Boom, 5. By the way, we didn't have the lemon. I wonder what the lemon tastes on it. Come on, throw the lemon on yours. Let's see if it changes. A little healthy. Lemon helps it. 5.2. Thank you for being on the show. Healthy Bytes. Don't forget BYTES. When you want a bite, grab a Healthy Bite. And I got to tell you, thank you for taking time out of your day. I know how busy you are, and for you to do this with me is just amazing. 45 years in the NFL. Rumor has it you're going to evolve into a consultant. Huh? You wanted to be like me finally. You wanted to be like me, didn't you? No.
I'm speechless.
Speechless. But you know what's even better is that we at Healthy Bytes have a little surprise for you. We have a little, there he comes, and there she comes. Evan K and Mia K wanted to come in off the bus and say, happy 45 plus, and blow it out. You got to blow it out quickly. Don't forget, blow it out. 1, 2, 3, go. Thank you for being an amazing pap. There's one more. Evan's got it. Give a big hug. Pap. Look who's got here.
Thank you.
Mia and Evan, quickly. The camera's running right now. How much do you enjoy this? The newscast and the social media? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 is Mia, which is I don't want it anymore. I don't like it. A 5 is Evan, which is I like it a lot, actually. I'll take another. And then 10 is Mr. Chewy. I'll take it all. I love it all the time. Go ahead. Rate it 1 at a time. Not the cookie cake, but the actual being here with us.
You guys started this all.
I'll go like a 2.7.
2.7, which means like, we
Probably
do
like
it.
A 4 and a 5 if you include the cake.
Oh! Mia is always thinking, negotiating. And that's a wrap. Everybody say thank you. Bye. Thanks, everybody, for being here. And, wait, don't forget Beth. She's the one who, is my opposite and knows how to deal with me full time.
I didn't get to give my rating.
Oh, what's your rating? Go ahead. What's your rating?
1.2.
Oh, that's a Mia. All right. Thanks, everybody. That's a wrap for today's Healthy Bytes. Thanks, Dr. Yates, for being here. Thanks for being my father-in-law. Thanks for being one of my best friends in the world, if not my bestest friend in the world. And thanks for being a great grandfather and great dad. You got it all, man. You got it all. Love it. Thanks. That's a wrap.